or to the cloud. All right, wonderful. Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here with you this morning. It's Thursday. Thursday is my favorite day of the week because I get to hang out with all you cool people. Um, and every Thursday we do a little bit of education to start off the morning. And I like to try and bring you things that can help your real estate business in some way. And today we have one of the sponsors for our group who is going to tell us how he can partner with you and your clients to help them. And so W.H. Steiner agreed to come on this morning and share a little bit with you about exactly what he does and how it works to help your business. So, William W.H., appreciate you being here. I'm going to change this view to speaker view so we see you. So, WH, please, thank you for being here and take it away.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. Thank you all for arriving today. I appreciate it. Seems like a big crowd we've got, Debbie, so I'm very excited. And I've spoken in front of many people for decades, and for some reason, I've got a little jitters in my stomach today for some reason. And that's a good thing, by the way. So I'm going to share something with all of you that maybe some of you might have heard about it, and I'm sure many of you have not. So education is important, and we only know what we know, right? Knowledge is power. So I've spent 5 years of my career to create this plan. Like Edison tried 1,000 times and he finally got the light bulb to work. And that's pretty much where I, have come from in a journey, to create something that's very powerful for all of you. So I'm going to share a presentation with you. So I don't know if you can hear sound, but let's get a little going here on our music.
Welcome to W.H. Steiner, the home of the 702S plan, America's best tax-free distribution plan for the entire family. The 702S plan from W.H. Steiner offers benefits including lifetime tax-free distribution income, uninterrupted compound interest, and protection from stock market declines, to name just a few. We'll be right there with more details.
All right, so I just want to give you a little tad of our beautiful music that was created for us. And now I'm going to screen share. And I should be able to get this presentation moving forward. Okay, great. So today I'm going to introduce the 702 plan or the 702S plan to all of you. And yes, indeed, it is here. So let's see if we can get the second page. We can. This presentation is designed to provide an overview of the W.H. Steiner 702S plan. This plan empowers individuals with the same knowledge, strategy, and results that have been used by the wealthiest families in the United States. The 702S plan is designed for anyone that includes the following: self-employed, an entrepreneur, real estate agent and broker, realtors, investors, contractors. You can be an owner and employer. You're going to be an employee. You can be a wife and a mother, a husband and a father, and or a child, including a newborn. So all of you have come to this morning and we've sent out a lot of invitations, and everybody's wondering, what does the 702S plan, individual plan, do? So it generates wealth with tax-free accumulation. And yes, I said tax-free. Creates funds that can be used as your own personal bank. Provides access to fund distribution, tax-free. And makes provisions to have funds available in the event of a serious illness or injury. And it protects loved ones, family, and business continuity. Now, obviously, your next question would be, what are the key benefits and features of the 702S plan? And that is, let's focus on the benefits first. The key benefits are lifetime tax-free income. Second would be uninterrupted compound interest. You're going to learn about that in a moment. My apologies. Someone's not ringing my door, and unfortunately, I can't answer it at the moment. Number 3, participation in the market upside, and 4, protection from stock market declines. Now, that's something, again, you'll learn in a moment all about that. So let's now take the next step and focus on important features. Flexibility to increase or decrease contributions for building lifetime tax-free retirement. Discretionary access to cash accumulation. Funds for serious illness or injury, the day that we hit a big bump in the road, and leaving a legacy for loved ones. Now we're going to talk about something that I want all of you to write down. I want you to write down IRS 7702. This is a tax code. This tax code was created by the United States Congress in 1984. It is a section of the U.S. Internal Revenue Code that defines what the federal government considers to be a legitimate life insurance contract and is used to determine how the proceeds generated by the policy are taxed. I want everyone to understand we are not here to talk about life insurance that we think that we all must pass or die in order to benefit from, which when we're passed, we're not here to benefit from it. We leave it to others. This is quite different. This allows us to create wealth while we're living, protects us while we're living. This is focused on life, not passing. And at the end of the day, the longer one lives, the longer the contract survives, the more compounding will take place. You'll learn more about that in a moment. Since 1984, life insurance contract that has a cash accumulation feature, very, very important. I'll say it again, cash accumulation feature that meets the compliance rule of the 7702 code is given the favorable tax status of loans from the contract, so being tax-free disbursements. And the contract must also pass both the cash value accumulation test, also known as CVAT, and the guideline premium test, GPT, to be fully compliant. Any further information on this, you can find it on our website, or you can request it from me. We'll be happy to send it to you, the entire rule and code on that. And again, you can Google the IRS government website, and you can learn there as well. So let's take the next page, building wealth tax-free. And this is a big emphasis because most people don't think about tax-free. They don't believe that could be possible. It is possible in 2 areas. 1, in this type of contract, and 2, there is a Roth, also known in a 401k, that also has distribution tax-free. The only difference is ours, you can put a lot more money in and contribute more in order to really build wealth. With a Roth, there's limitations. I believe it's $6,000, $7,000. Can you build wealth with $6,000 or $7,000 a year? You could if you started very early, okay? So account increases with uninterrupted compound interest, which is very, very powerful. And account increases with the stock market, but is protected from any stock market losses, okay? Let's take a look at our next. Here is uninterrupted compound interest. All of you should really focus. We've heard this phrase. We might have seen a picture or two in our lifetime, but I want you to take a real strong look at this image. This is a 20-year-old person, 20 years of age, and that maybe their father or grandfather said, son, you're going to put $10,000 away and you are going to see what compound interest does. Warren Buffett has preached this for decades. Over 60 years, $10,000 at 8% annual compound interest grows to approximately $1.2 million. Now, does anyone on the group knew about that if you put $10,000 away and let it sit for 60 years, it would turn into $1.2 million? Is that something that all of you or any of you knew about? Okay. So now you get a real strong visual effect of this. Now, why did I pick 8%? you'll learn that basically when these contracts that we create for individuals, we work with the S&P. The historical averages return of the S&P are over 10%. So I did it less. Why? Because we'd like to show a normal historical average, but a little less to give a realistic picture, because everyone wants to be surprised with more and they don't want to be surprised with less. And I hope that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to grab a little water. Now, markets ups and downs of the S&P since 2000. You don't have to be a stock market expert. It has nothing to do with being an expert of watching the market go up and down. Naturally, markets do that because that's how they work. This is basically, this image is to make two very powerful points. And that is the 401k has an inherited risk due to the stock market volatility. As you can see, the blue years are the up years and the red are the negative years. In 2008, it wasn't very good. I believe most of you experienced that, and you'll see some other years as well. Naturally, the markets go up and down. Our 702S plan protects from market volatility and stock market declines. So if you took away the negative years and put them at 0 or just above 0, the historical averages would not be 10%. The averages now would grow into the 14, 17% range. That is very powerful. So here is a snapshot of 2008, which again, many of you probably remember. If you had a 401k account value of $1 million in 2007, by the end of 2008, your account value would have fallen 38.49%. Therefore, your 401k account value would have dropped to $615,100. Now, in the event of a 702S plan, this would have resulted in no loss of account value and would have protected you from the volatility of the stock market decline. Therefore, your account value would have remained unchanged at $1 million. That is one of the most powerful statements that we make at W.H. Steiner. Imagine working hard, putting money away, and then because some stock traders didn't go in the positive way, or maybe they didn't have their coffee, and 38% of your money just disappeared in over a week. That, I believe, is unjust. We as Americans deserve better. We deserve protection. We deserve education. We should be learning how to grow our wealth safely. So let's review a variety of illustrations that should inspire you to request your own. Be ready. This, what you're about to see, will certainly inspire you. Here's a real estate agent, and this one is 30 years of age. He makes contributions of $500 a month. So his monthly minimum contributions, in the event they had months that he wanted to put a little less in, that's not a problem. His contracts are very flexible for $143.58. Now, this gentleman wants to retire at 65. His lifetime contributions, $210,000. His distribution tax-free annually after 65, $108,144. Accumulated lifetime wealth, $2.8 million plus. Tax-free estate benefit at age 90. William, what is tax-free estate benefit? Sounds pretty tricky to me. No, the estate benefit basically, as most people would know, would be a death benefit. But we call it an estate benefit. Why? Because we don't talk about death. We talk about living in life. We should. That's how we should focus, to inspire to make better days in our future. So in and when one passes, you can leave money to your estate tax-free. And that could pay for multiple things, tax planning, or it could be for loved ones, children, or even a charity. And then we have tax-free accumulated benefits, total $3.2 million plus. This was putting $500 away since he was 30 years of age. Now, here's a realtor example. And she's 41, seems pretty happy to me. She should be. She got a 702S plan, and she put away $600. She's earning a nice income. Her monthly minimum contribution, should she decide to put less, is $224.20. Once again, she makes these contributions till she's 65. Lifetime contributions of $172,800, and her tax-free annual distribution would be $51,086. Accumulated lifetime wealth, $1.3 million plus, tax-free estate benefit, $266, over $250,000. And from saving this money, she creates an estate wealth tax-free of just short of $1.6 million. The next example are for investors, and I believe there are lots of investors, Debbie, that come and participate in your group. Here is a 34 years of age male, and obviously he seems pretty happy. He's managing a portfolio of real estate. His contributions are far greater, $5,000 a month. So his monthly contribution, in case if he wanted to put less in, would be about $1,700. Lifetime contributions of $1.8 million, and tax-free distribution at 65 and beyond, $792,053. Accumulated lifetime wealth. Should this inspire an investor? I would hope so. $20 million tax-free estate benefit. That's, again, when you pass, you can leave this for any reason and purpose tax-free, of approximately $3.8 million. Tax-free accumulated benefits, $24,489,907 tax-free. And lastly, we have a snapshot here of a case study for a realtor. She's 31. She seems pretty happy. And again, she should be. She's planning for her future. And in the event if something goes wrong, she will have liquidity to be there to protect her. She puts $300 away a month. She has a monthly contribution minimum of $85 and change. Lifetime contributions of $122,000 and change. Tax-free annual distribution of $61,012. Accumulated lifetime wealth, $1,586,000. Tax-free estate benefit, $318,000 and change. A total accumulated benefit of her estate, $1.9 million. That's from putting away, saving $122,000. Now, let's talk about access to account accumulation. People want to know, do I have to wait 20 years? How do I get money if I need it? You have access to your 702S funds anytime after the second year via the loans from your account accumulation, also known as liquidity. Choose to pay the loan back at your discretion or allow the estate benefit to settle any loans upon your passing. Now, let's just think about that for a second. So I could take money from the contract, and that money is mine, and I don't have to return it if I don't want to. And if I do, I can put it back at any time I wish. And if I don't, or let's say I borrow $500,000 and 3 days later, there's a tragic situation and I pass, then they will get their money back and everything else left will go to my estate. Loans can be used for any reason, including liquidity for your own personal or business needs. Obviously, real estate professionals need access to their money and they want to be able to get it when they need it, and create your own personal bank. That's really what, at the end of the day, this is a phrase that's been used called infinity banking. So what happens if I had an emergency? Emergency funds for living benefits in the event I was diagnosed with a terminal illness, a critical illness, or a chronic illness. Now, we're not going to dive deep into the illnesses because at the end of the day, when we create an illustration for any of all of you, we're happy to break out those details. But people see chronic illness and they immediately think this is an 80-year-old person with their back humped over and they're sick. That's not chronic illness. It has nothing to do with age. It has to do with if you can facilitate 2 of the 6 daily routine things that we do and we take for granted every day. What happens if we got COVID and we couldn't get out of bed and take a shower or go to the bathroom without assistance for 90 days? You have access to your estate benefit. You don't have to pass in order to have access to that. Again, this contract is about living and living long and happy. An estate benefit for loved ones and business. Protection for loved ones from debts, taxes, and mortgages to continue life without financial hardship. liquidity for any business or partnership arrangements to provide for buyouts or continuity of the business, and funds for special needs, including charities. Now, I'm just going to take a little glass of water. The 702S plans process. It's got to be complicated. No, it's very simple. And we simplify the understanding of the contract. You understand exactly how it works. We customize and personalize client illustrations. This is very important that you understand how this works. You wouldn't buy a car unless you knew where to put the keys and how to put the thing, open the trunk, and certainly know how to put air in the tire. And further, this ensures contract meets, and this is very important, all IRS Tax Code 7702 requirements. All our contracts are compliant to this rule. Once again, all of you should Google IRS Tax Code 7702 or ask, and we'll be happy to supply it to you. And it assists in maximizing tax-free accumulation and distribution. All because the Congress passed something in 1984 that said a life insurance contract that has cash accumulation feature allows you to create wealth through compound interest, protection from stock market declines, and to be able to access it and take it as a loan tax-free. At W.H. Steiner, we have a plan to meet the most pressing financial needs of any individual for security, safety, and peace of mind for his or her family, business, including themselves. And I promise you, and many of them are here, W.H. Steiner professionals are ready to assist you in structuring and personalizing your 702S plan. And Debbie, this is the part of the presentation where if there are any questions, we'll be happy to supply answers, or we're happy to do that offline, whichever you prefer.
Actually, let's go ahead and give you, like, if there's a couple of questions that people have, if you want to stop sharing your screen, then we can see if anybody has their hand up.
Okay.
Actually, go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question to ask.
Yep. And Debbie, I'm going to turn this off. I just wanted to let people know, if you invite us, we provide company presentations. Contact us for details. Our 800 number is listed here. And if you Google W.H. Steiner, you will see our 800 number, and that will patch you right into our organization where you will speak with me or any one of our professionals. I'll stop screen sharing if I know how to do that. I think I hope I can do that. Help me, Debbie. I think I'm going to need your help on that one.
All right. So, stop. There we go.
Thank you.
So I see that Peggy has her hand up first.
Wow, I'm so excited about Peggy being here. Peggy, good morning.
I always have a question.
I know you
Keeps
do.
everything going. So William, as a real estate investor and a capital raiser, all this wealth that's being accumulated, I'm presuming I could borrow from it. You did say borrow, and I can invest that into a real estate product or into anything I want. Is that correct?
That is correct. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's just say
upside.
I invest $100,000 and in 4 years I get 200,000 back. I pay back what I owe plus the interest, right, which I can deduct off my taxes.
That's correct.
And I have 100,000 of capital gain minus whatever it was I paid in. So now I have to pay taxes on the extra 100,000, correct?
You would pay, the
back.
answer is yes. You would pay tax on the income of any real estate or any investment, but the distribution of the money coming out of the contract, that cash liquidity is tax-free on distribution. And you don't have to pay it back if you don't want to.
Can I pay that? Can I put that into this policy?
Yes, you can.
So I can put my capital gain into the policy.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay,
The
great.
contract is going to be structured. There's two ways to structure a 702S plan. One, not a dime more, it's actually about $7 plus, or an investor would come to me and they would say, William, I want to start here, but I want to do more in 3 years, in 10 years. Could you please make sure the contract will allow me to put more cash distribution in? And then we frame that out and make sure the client is happy. And they always have the chance to increase or decrease or bring it back to the original level.
And that's tax-free.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Peggy.
Excellent.
And one note, just for everyone to know, I'm not sure if he is here, Peter from Panama. Peter's our broker, a real estate broker who's handling our business in Panama. We're opening our first international office, which will be focused on foreign national business, and that will open in March 15th. And our focus, of course, is the real estate industry. And I can't tell you how pleased I am, because all of you, real estate people in general have a strong financial mindset. They're determined to build wealth. And they said, but how can we do it better? This is one way.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael.
Many years ago, I sold long-term care insurance. I know the products and the whole industry has changed. Is this the new way of purchasing life insurance with benefits that I can be drawn out for long-term care insurance if I'm not meeting if I'm not qualified for all the ADLs?
Okay, so this contract, the liquidity, when you take it out, when we call distribution, is tax-free. You can use that money, and many people have asked, can I use it for medical or long-term care? The answer is yes. And this is a great tool in order to create something that could ultimately give you plenty of liquidity to not only address some medical long-term care, but so much more. Again, it's all a matter of how long does the contract survive. Remember, the longer it keeps working by compound interest, and you're free to take the distribution. I set those distributions normally at around 10%, but any given year, if you needed extra, it's your money. You take distribution as and when you want to.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, Amber.
Oh, I really wish I spoke this language a little clearer. This seems fascinating, but I am very lost. I'm going to go back to your website and reread this a couple of times. But
Okay.
My question for you is, most of your examples have people starting distribution at 65. Is that a legal requirement? Can we
Nope.
push that out later? That's just a good example of when most people like to start.
Well, I'm not an old dinosaur, but I'm a sort of an old new dinosaur. And I've lived in the world of people retiring at 65. Now, I want to make a very strong statement. If you have children or grandchildren, you start a plan, their retirement will not be 65 if they don't want it. They can probably retire when they're 50. This plan, if applied properly, will change the financial landscape of our country. Don't even question it. Just read about it, learn about it. And you'll see that, instead of putting our children in heavy debt and credit card debt, they can borrow money at, whatever the rate may be at that point, but it certainly won't be 18%. It'll be 5% at max. And they could put it in, use a line of credit. If we're teaching our children about history, why don't we teach them about how to make our future better? And that's creating savings. And look, these are things that I was brought up, and I know Peggy was, and my father saved money, and so did his father. So at the end of the day, you can take distribution and retirement anytime you want. And there are many people that say, I want to retire at 50. Well, if you make the proper contributions and you can survive with whatever those distributions are, then nothing should stop you.
If I change it to 12:30.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. I'm trying to figure out who
I'm
that
so
is.
sorry.
No,
Could I
no.
interrupt
Oh,
one
okay.
more
Go
time?
ahead,
I
Amber.
have a follow-up question.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And I understand wanting to take this disbursement early. That's not where I'm at all. Can I take it later, like much later?
Okay. Well, the old story, and I'll say this with great wisdom. And I tell clients, today is the day that you decide to start it. And it's a day that you can imagine what you'd like to have and when you want to retire. But when you get there, it will be different. It'll be 20, 30, 40 years later. And whatever you think today will probably not what you think then. And if you want to retire later and take it later, I can tell you this, every year it just keeps growing. And as in the back end, it really starts to get very crazy. Parents look at these for children and they just sit in amazement. And they go, why didn't I get it? It's because when you were a child, it wasn't available, unfortunately.
I have a question.
Ex-
Is there a fee to start the program, to enroll?
30 minutes of your time. It's the only investment except for putting contributions. If you're a child, if it's a child, you can start with $25 or $50 or any amount, as long as again, within reason, because obviously carriers want to see if there's risk. But when it comes to adults, depending on your age, 100, 300, 500, but there's no fee or cost to start. No, just 30 minutes of your time. An application is very simple.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to make one comment, and that is, if you have not already done it, now's the time to drop all your contact information in the chat, because we're going to get to Ellen's question and then do at least one round of breakout rooms. So, Ellen, you're up.
I apologize for coming in a little late. The question I have is, what if I want to start this for my 2 grandkids?
Great. That's music to my ears. You're singing to the choir right now. How many grandchildren? 2?
2.
Imagine what, if you share this with other grandparents, how many grandchildren will have this plan? That's the beginning. This is what it's all about. We deserve a better future. Our grandchildren deserve the same better future. So yes, it would be a great way to start for sure.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So thank you, William. We appreciate all that knowledge. And I know I wish that I could have started when I was a kid too, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording